When we're meditating, a lot of times we're trying to create this special outcome. I want my back to be straight. I want to do this. I want to do this. But the act of trying to do all of these things actually stop you from relaxing, stops you from letting go. You end up thinking in your mind. You keep trying to pay attention to all these things. But what you're really doing in meditation is you are practicing on accepting what's happening now. Whether or not your mind silences or not doesn't matter. Because if you're busy right now, if you got a lot of things going on in your life, which is a good thing, well, your mind is going to be busy. Your mind is going to be thinking a lot. So maybe you will be able to silence your mind a bit, or maybe your mind's going to be racing constantly, even during meditation. But if you can accept the fact that your mind is racing, then what you are practicing on is acceptance, being in the present moment as your mind is racing. This ability to accept is the same thing that's happening in your everyday life. When something's happening in front of you and it's not what you want, but you can accept what's happening, especially if you can't change it. And therefore, by accepting what's happening, you're not making it into a problem. You're not creating a resistance. You're not getting mad at something because you're able to accept it. This is the source of all problems. Things are happening in our life all the time, but we're not accepting it. We don't like it. We want it to be different. So then we continuously label what's happening in our life as problems. But there's no problem. A problem is just a made-up label. And a problem comes from not accepting what's happening. Remember that acceptance has nothing to do with changing or not changing. Accepting means we are being present to what's happening. Being present to what's happening. So let's say in a scenario, you want to be in a quiet place so you can feel at ease. Man, you had a long day. You want to come home and just chill out. You come home and it's like a party there. There's music, there's all these people, there's all this stuff around. It's the last thing that you want. So then what do? Can you go ahead and kick everybody out? May not be the nicest thing to do. Let's say you can't do that. So now you have to accept it. If you accept it, you can be at peace with yourself while you're in this chaos, all this stuff. Or you can not accept it and sit there and be miserable and be upset and then create a problem out of this. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? All this stuff. And what does it do? It makes you more upset, right? So when we practice on accepting, now the things that are happening in our life, while we do the best to control the outcomes and make it the best that we can, but whatever happens, we're okay with it. We don't make it into a problem. And by doing so, it helps us actually create things that we want because our mood stays consistent. Imagine if we are only okay when we get what we want. And when we're not okay when we don't get what we want. You know, our mood does this. So if our mood does this, what happens when our mood is here? Everything is great. Yeah, we're on fire. We're in the flow. And then we don't get what we want. Drops down to here. Now what happens? Now we're not as nice to people. We're not as kind. We're not energetic. We don't lift up anybody. You see? So then that doesn't help us get what we want. And then we try to get ourselves, something happens, and then we're back to here, and then everything's great, and then we drop. But if we stay here the whole time, right in the middle, we feel peaceful, we feel centered, we're very, very aware of what's going on. We see it in a neutral way. We don't have blinders on. Now, even when something happens that's not what we want, we don't go ahead and dig a deeper hole. We don't make it worse. We look at the scenario and go, what do I need to do to get what I want? It becomes very clear. If we got upset at the situation, we create it into a problem, then we don't get to see clearly of what needs to happen. We just complain and blame and try to find somebody to complain to. Just talk about our problems and focus more on this make-believe idea of a problem versus seeing what needs to happen so we can move towards what we want, towards creating the outcome that's aligned with our life. See, this will only happen when we're not so emotional, when we can actually accept something. So we are being present with it, we accept it. So this helps us move forward. All the times that you're not getting that down, you get even less benefits. Because it's not just about doing the things and trying to get it right. There is a certain outcome that you're doing meditation for, right? So in other words, instead of trying to hit a home run and get 100% or nothing or 20%, you may just hit first bases and second bases, but you're gaining by being okay with what's happening, by being more relaxed, by being more clear, because you're not creating a problem in your head. So then you hit 70%. And then because you are gaining, you're just not gaining in everything that you could, but you are gaining. So therefore, now the other areas that allow you to get to 100%, you're able to move forward on those. Suddenly, boom, your back is more straight. Because your back is actually more straight because your energy is flowing more and your body is less dense. But your body is less dense because your mind is more clear. Your mind is more clear because you're not resisting it. You see, there's a whole chain connection. So you're basically creating the same thing that you're wanting, but you're creating it through the back door. You're not trying to straighten up, but this is how it is. Your back naturally straightens up because you let go of the resistance in your mind.